I bore ya. Fuck that up.
It's alright. No one wouldn't know that until you said it. Whatever. It's just how you play your
Past about pain. It's timeless and honest. So let go of your shame. It's a dead, dampened flame. Yeah, it's a facade.
Oh, it's a massage.
Now it's a facade. Take a look at your training. That one's always different. There's nobody else like you. I think I finally explained it. So I continue to move between the bank and the blanket. Don't fake it. I'm really gonna try this time. Gonna give you my heart in spite of my soul. I'm really gonna try this time. Gonna give you my heart in spite of my soul. I want your name burnt in my seal. Floats like a flame, an unpredictable wonder. You gave it all hope that all of this is a circle. There's nobody else like you. So many that came before you. This is the moment I choose. Between the hope and the hardest. To be honest, I'm really gonna try this time. I'm gonna give you my heart in spite of my soul. I'm really gonna try this time. Gonna give you my heart in spite of my soul.
All right. So, hi everyone. I have some stuff that I had made for this live stream. What I'm going to do first, though, is give you a reading on the spectro at Tomsk. And I think I haven't done one in a little while. It's probably about time to do one. And what I'm going to do, I'm trying to adjust everything. All right. So, oh, and right here it's showing there's a subtropical storm off of the East Coast, which theoretically would affect me. I'm over on the East Coast. Sound check, volume going in and out. All right, is it, Bradley, is it going better now? Because it's showing it's pretty solid on my end. So Right, we're still adjusting everything here. All right, okay. All right. Okay, so I have the gain set up so that I don't have to speak loudly and I can just whisper. And I'm going to turn it up, max it up there. All right. So, all right. I think we're ready. Oh, hold on. We're not quite ready yet. Oh, I love warm coffee. All right. All right. So we're ready now, I think. Okay. At approximately 11 minutes into it. All right. So the first thing that I tell everyone, when you're looking at the Schumann resonances, thank you, Bradley, sound check. So the first thing I tell everyone when you're looking at the Schumann resonances is that you have to look at the local environment of this first, okay? Move me over a little more, all right? Move this guy over here a little more, all right? Oh, there we go, all right. I have a bunch of screens here, I have to guess which one is which. All right. But you have two heads. Oh, that's good because I can't yell any louder to you in London, Ontario, for you to hear me better. There's people sleeping upstairs, or eating. I don't know what they're doing. All right. So the first thing I say, one of the first rules, for those of you who've been around for a while, what I'm going to say here. It's like with Dutch or any of us who know this, we bring this to you. It's like, all right, what's the first rule? Check your local interferences first. Check your local environment first. Right? So the people don't do this when they give the reading on their Schumann. They don't tell you what the reading at Tomsk is. They don't care. I do. So it looked like it was a little rainy over there today, 64 in the morning, 19 degrees humidity. Okay, afternoon is sunny, but kind of cloudy. All right, stopped raining. And then it started raining again in the evening, 73 degrees, and then overnight, 62. All right, so the other night it was 39 overnight, or 36 overnight. Okay. Oh, hi, not sure. Well, I'm glad you were sure enough to show up. Welcome. Thank you. All right, so 8% chance of rain through 7 a.m. Okay, all right. And they're showing you this is the time, 6:43 a.m., 6:43 a.m. at Tomsk. They're starting their day right now. Okay, and they're giving you these doohickeys right here. Yeah, you can see them there. All right, pressure, that's the barometric pressure. I tell everyone, if you're not feeling well, check your barometric pressure. That's one of the things that figure in your inner ear. I love that. Yeah, not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, yes, I'm here. It sounds almost like an Abbott and Costello routine. Sure. Yeah, he's not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's here. Yes, he's sure. Are you sure or not? Yeah, no, I'm not sure. What, are you sure or not? I can make it work. Anyway, all right. So, onward and upward. All right. So the high and low, the wind, 9 miles an hour doesn't seem much until the antenna starts rattling. Okay, it's a thing. It's in there. The moon, the full moon. I don't know. Sort of figures in there. Hourly forecast. This tells you how it is over there. It's cloudy, sunny. When you have, remember, on the sunny days, you would expect Schumann resonances to bump up, amplitude and the resonances to increase. Okay. Daily forecast. Okay, and so this is where we are at in the radar. See the radar. Can we see the radar? All right, what do we got? This is the Tomsk, Russia radar map. So look at this, right? All right, so the middle of Tomsk, right there. Tomsk, because it's a city that's not that big. It's all kind of cramped from what I've gathered. The middle of it, where these guys are, where the university is somewhat cramped. So what we're looking at is the rain, mix of weather from rain to, snow, and then pure straight up snow. Okay. All right, so I want to show you this while I have you here, okay, where Tomsk is relative to India. Okay? Now, for those of you who follow Dutch, those of you who follow wages, most of you are here from wages. You follow world events. You know that there was recently a magnitude 7 point something, 7 point worry range uh, in China. And we'll go into that in just a minute. But I wanted to show you here, and while I'm here, while I have you here, okay, so you can see the earthquake activity is roughly here. Okay, in this kind of general area here, there's a bunch of it in this general area here. But the big one of concern is right about here. This cluster, it was a cluster. The big one was 7 point. Oh my God! And then the other ones are 4 point. We're getting ready. Okay, so I'm just while I have this map here, we're kind of lining up. Mongolia, there's this big kind of area here. This tends to get a lot of. It's a hotbed of earthquake activity and landslides, mountains kind of tumbling, that kind of thing. People's houses without much of a building code coming sliding down, all these kind of things. That's what they have to worry about over there. Rocks coming boom, 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 boom over the road, decimating the road, and there we go. That's the main passageway. Is one desert, one mountain road, and it's kind of on shady. On the best of times, it's kind of shady as it is, and then they get quakes, and then it just takes out the road, and then they're stuck for months without a road until they can figure it out, or maybe not. Maybe they're just not with a road at that point. But these are things that happen over in this area when they get these kind of quakes. Something to remember. All right. So this is how Russia is doing. This is the spectrogram. Hold on. Let me display to connect. Boop. All right. Good. Bing. All right. We'll put this all in so we can all see it. There's come off. Yeah, Monday, Nathan. Those will probably reach us. Start worrying about them Sunday night, okay, Nathan? Just as a suggestion. They're due here Monday. In the meantime, enjoy some ice cream. Soul food, pancakes. It's my suggestion. Don't worry about it until you have to. It's the time. Everything's breaking down. If you got a piece of quiet, enjoy it. That's my view. Grounding. Ground. Use this time. You are correct. Absolutely, Nathan. There is a shot due to hit us on Monday, Sunday, Monday-ish. Start your grounding now. Don't wait until the last minute. Start meditating. Channel all your excess energy, all of it, into the ground, either the ground itself through the grass and the ground. Oh, cheesecake, that's a good grounding. Yep. Thank you, Denise. Good grounding tip and technique from Denise. Cheesecake, absolutely. Cheesecake preferably on your pancakes. It's a suggestion. It's all just a suggestion. Ground as you see fit. Caramel, caramel sauce on it drizzled. That helps with the grounding process. Now all I can think of is chocolate eclairs. But yes, and vanilla ice cream in root beer floats. That helps with the grounding process as well. Hug a tree, yeah, absolutely. Go swimming. Go swimming in the ocean if you can. Go swimming in a pool if you can. Go swimming in your bathtub if you can. Go swimming in a garbage bin that you bought, brand new that you bought for this purpose. Water is the best way to ground. So Right, so these are all suggestions. So if you know by now at this point, there's enough technology kind of showing this stuff that you know something's coming in. So I am not a medical person. I treat this as you as a component in the electrical circuit. Okay, so your doctor does whatever, the medical people do whatever, but I am looking at this as we, you, me, us, treating this as a an electric circuit. Okay, so that's what my main kind of goal here is to work with this with people so they understand the electric circuit, them as part of the electric circuit, and ground out on that principle accordingly, right? I don't give medical advice. I don't solicit it. It's not the medical. I don't whatever they do, they do, they do. I'm not the medical people. I don't claim to be. This isn't in place of medical advice, you know. However, my expertise is in electrics and electromagnetics, and uh, I'm treating you like a battery of some sorts. So, all right. So I'm reading this. What the comment? Hold on. All right, so he says, can this frequency be heard by us? I can't hear it, but family members have been asking about a tone that changes either volume or frequency. We have gone as far as turning off power to try and mitigate. Okay, so that was a common question that's asked by many people. All right. This I've sort of done. All right. As I read and ask my guides, as I talk to God, basically, like it's that simple, I talk to my guides. Who are my guides? All the people who were once living, who are now dead. The dead people are in my head. How do I know that my family is in a better place? They tell me, right? In my dreams. Uh, So I have a connection. I connect. That's how I know all this. I'm a freakish knowledge and all this stuff because I ask my guides. I ask God, everyone, wherever, Palladians, whatever. So part of this is that I know this from a different perspective than people, the most normal people. There's a bigger plan, and then there's kind of the individual, smaller kind of cells of groups of people. Okay. So the ringing comes, I've explained this before. The best way to describe this, the ringing is a magnetic induction in the inner ear. You have a cochlea, a, a coil. The name is a cochlea. It's a coil that induces sound into your ear. It's got crystals. Those crystals, my hypothesis, those crystals are able to induce a sound in your head. Here's the problem. Is it coming from the Schumann resonances, or is it coming from all of your unshielded electronics around you that are always vibrating at a much higher frequency than the Schumann resonances? Okay? Ask yourself that. How do you know? How do you know that it is the atmospheric environmental resonances and not the Schumann resonance and not your unshielded electromagnetics? I'm going to do a test here. See if I can find this. There's a handy an app. It's a handy app I have on my phone. All right. EMF meter. All right. So right here, see it? As I'm moving closer, I don't know if you can see that. It's 47, okay? You see the little red, and when I put it on top, 47, 48. All right, so you can see it here. 48, 47. If you can see it, it may be too glaring, I don't know, but you know, I'm reading it here, 47. I've gotten it up to 61. All right, so, oh, shut up. So I'm sorry, you're doing a fine job. So my, uh, yeah, Magic Wireless. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. All right. So my HP laptop, which is just like in every person's laptop, it's got a, I don't know, a 14, 16-inch diagonal screen, you know, this wide, uh, shows that I've got it up to 61. And that's wireless going from, the wireless signal going from somewhere between my, you know, I'm doing this over the laptop, so it's somewhere between the laptop and the signal above me, somewhere. Right? Okay. So that is floating in the air somewhere. Okay. Nano Teslas. You see the little, that's the Greek thing. The mu, I believe, is the Greek letter. Nano Tesla. The Earth's magnetic IMF, the magnetic connection with the sun, is nano Tesla. The telluric power of the Earth itself is nano Tesla. That is 1,000 times stronger than the Schumann resonances, which are pico. Okay, so here you have this problem that you run into. Not only my cell phone is putting out EMFs, but it's detecting other EMFs. Okay. My big ass screen, which I'm looking at, which is the monitor that I use in all of this, is putting out EMF. Anything with a light is putting out EMF. Anything with a sensor is putting out EMF. Anything with a detector, smoke detector. You've got a carbon monoxide detector. You've got a heat detector. They're all detecting. They're all alive. They have a battery. They're hooked up into your main circuit of your house. All of these things with sensors and meters are radiating out into your environment. And the more modern your living quarters are, not only do they have all of these sensors and meters, but chances are your modern home has all sorts of plastics and all sorts of epoxies and polymers and all of this stuff that when the UV hits it, it turns it into vapors and poisons us. All right. So you have to question if it's not, first and foremost, if you're having some kind of a physiological symptom. Say we're talking about the ringing. First, you got to go see a doctor to make sure it's not a legitimate tinnitus. First and foremost, before any of that, you got to get a clean bill of health before you blame it on the electromagnetics in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so you get that clean bill of health. The doctor says there's nothing physically wrong with you that they can find. Okay, then we're talking about the ringing in the ears. Regardless of whatever you have, you may or may not have physically wrong with you, the electromagnetics and all this crap in the environment is going to make it worse. If you're already suffering, if you already got a malady, all of this is just going to make you worse. The chain of events has already started. Fukushima, not that recently. Chernobyl from my generation, 1982, 86, 80, forget what. It was recently they did the anniversary of that. 86, I seem to recall, but you get the point. And this is this is too many toxins to even mention. But the radiation is a big part of this. The genetic structure is kind of breaking down of people in general. People's immune systems are breaking down because of the poisons. That's fine. People don't know how to ground. They don't know what that is. Okay, that's fine. We eat food that's been genetically modified. We don't know how to balance that out with a better living. Okay, that's fine. Uh, we believe that we're all alone here. We fear each other. We fear God. We fear our neighbors. We fear authority. Rightly so. We fear the people in charge. Rightly so. You're absolutely right to fear them. Absolutely. Um, we ingest. How many scary movies did you watch last year? How much garbage music do you listen to? Just tremendous humming to make you mindless and brainwashing. And, do you do anything to decalcify your pineal? Decalcify any of your glands? Do you get sun? Do you get fresh air? Do you get clean water? Are you eating good food? Uh, do you drive in a car that you close off and have recycled air in there? It's a thing. Do you drive on the highway with your windows open and ingest all the smoke? I don't know. Something to think about. What's your work environment like? What do they do there? Do they recently get brand new furniture and then a couple days later you started getting a little lightheaded or nauseous? I don't know. It's the world that you live in. In all things, beware of the con. In all things, beware of the okey dokey. Beware of the hocus pocus, the being bamboozled, finagled. In all of these things, they are as much of the human condition as the promise for humans. There's a wonderful, there's a war on for the human genetic structure because the promise and the potential of humans is such that there's an amazing possibility for humans in the future. We're getting there, it's coming eventually. So the promise, the potential is there for humans, but if we survive first, that's a thing. And not poison ourselves. Roger Waters, he put out that album, Amusing Ourselves to Death. Okay, well, we're doing that, and we're also poisoning ourselves to death as a result of amusing ourselves to death. Just in my humble opinion on this. So, the true promise and potential is for the humans, for the genetic structure to recombine, for the junk to no longer be junk. It wasn't, it isn't, but it's passive. And what the future, what the promise, the potential is that DNA reawakening, restitching, recombining. However, it has to be by the will of the person. You can't do dirt willingly, knowing that you're just doing crap and shit upon and to your fellow man and think you're going to just, we're going to rise over that. Jesus never said that. Like, you can do whatever you want and then just, you say the Lord's Prayer and then you go to heaven. Like, no, I never read that anywhere in the Bible. The Catholic Church sold indulgences, or churches, and let's leave any one of them out, but it's generally been one of the Piscean age kind of things of, you could sin and go to heaven if you paid enough, right? That's going. You can't, the things are changing. It's to the point where everyone becomes now responsible for your own soul, your own saved, salvation. Regardless of what anyone else knows or does, you still are stuck with the willing decision of whether or not the group itself is correct, or maybe they're all kind of going like lemmings off of the cliff. I don't know. But that's part of how, like, what my thing here is, how do you know what's authentic? How do you know it's real? At least with the Schumann resonances. And what I've been giving you, not in addition, not just the readings with the numbers, but how do you figure out how to read it? The principles. Like, I give you the principles I use, and I give you from the training, my, personal, training in doing the electronics, doing all this stuff. I give you the benefit of what I've learned. Um, so, so that's where, like, that's kind of what this experience is about. That when we talk about the ringing, it is not from the Schumann resonances. However, you have to check your local electromagnetics first, right? I mean, I can give you a good enough connection of the ringing connected to the electromagnetics, but it may not be the Schumann resonances. It's all been within the last 5 years that you're starting to hear about all the people and all this ringing. Well, the Schumann resonances have been around from the beginning, right? How are you just all of a sudden saying, oh, it's Schumann? Well, the Schumann's rising, is that it? Because it's not, right? You got to figure something else out. Right? So that's what kind of a lot of this is people coming into this believing that it's the Schumann when, well, you know what? If you're going to assign it to electromagnetics, I'm not saying it is, but I can actually prove to you how it is. So if you're going to assign the ringing to something, you have to apply it to the loudest intensity thing, the most local to you. Sit with that for a minute. I showed you the 47 that I got, the 49 reading. Nano Teslas is what my laptop is putting out. It's a foot away from me. The most local, loudest electrical interference source near me. Go with that first and foremost, and unshielded. My laptop's not shielded in any way. It's plastic. Right? It's surrounded by plastic. That's not electrostatic shielding in any way, shape, or form. It's not Tesla approved. It's not Faraday approved. It ain't Schumann approved. It ain't no one approved except Hewlett Packard. So it's important to look at that. The local unshielded. That's in there as a third item. The loudest intensity EMF source, the loudest source, the most local. Even if something is further away, if it's more, like there's the distance away from it that counts, but there could be something further away, like the local power lines, right? Schumann resonance antennas pick up the local power lines. So the loudest, most local, and what's unshielded. The dimmers on your fluorescence, for example. Or the ballast, rather. I'm sorry, not the dimmers, but the ballast of fluorescence. You have LEDs, dimmers are, they throw out a lot of, EMF noise into the atmosphere. So, all right. So with all that said, let me display 2. Okay, all right. So I just want to point this out that, you got to look at the time of the day, the diurnal variations. All right. So we have the middle of the day here, and I'm noticing, this was what, the main reason I went over to look at the weather at Tomsk. You have the white numbers underneath the spectro are local Tomsk time, and the yellow is UTC time. Okay, so you got to look at the local time to know the position of the sun. Where is it? UTC is just for a comparison of where you are. So we look during the day at the various times of the day what Tomsk in Russia is doing. And so you have 0 is midnight. So a lot of times around 11 it has been kind of just not shutting off, but just kind of dropping precipitously. So, here's 11 o'clock. And you see a line there. Didn't drop precipitously, but it gradually did. But this lowest, the first harmonic of the 7.8, still very strong. You see that? It's not rising when it's a straight line. If the Schumann resonances were rising, that line would get fatter. And you have to remember, it's also down here. You see how it's also bopping? This is a lower end of the spectrum. So it rises and it falls. It's not going significantly past 7.8 without coming back down, right? This is a frequency that stays stable due to the constraints. 7.8 stays relatively stable of only a few, tenths of a hertz when it's humming. A lot of people believe this is going to be rising or it is rising, and I'm saying no, it's a straight line. It's still a straight, flat line. Still a band, still horizontal. No, it's not rising. There are times, like here, you look at this in the middle of, when it should be sleeping. Okay, it's still going strong. So we remember that the ionosphere, the strength of the ionosphere, is what keeps the Schumann resonances strong. Okay. The lightning discharge is what sends it out, sure. You get these kind of seemingly random patterns of lightning going off. All right. Seemingly random. Okay. However, right, that only rings the bell. After that, it kind of they keep moving around. They keep vibrating in the atmosphere, higher up in the atmosphere. I want to just kind of remind you of that. And so the lowest resonances will stay active. Usually that one, 7.8, is active, even if the other ones aren't that active. So that's always a thing that happens. Like 4 in the morning, you can kind of see, went to bed here from 11 to 4, 4, 5, Okay. But then it sort of also went to bed here, went back to bed at like 9. Didn't want to go to work that day, so 9 to 2 in the afternoon. So you have a little early morning burst of work there. The resonances, these horizontals are the actual resonances. You got to remember that. Amplitude bursts, when people say, oh, there's not much going on in the Schumann, they're only looking at one aspect. They're only looking at the amplitude. They're not looking at the actual Schumann resonances themselves, which are these horizontal bands. Bing, bing, bing. They're like musical kind of staff, if you will. So that's what I'm looking at, is the strength of the Schumann resonances. Mark Pires, resonance man. Holy crap. Everyone, wow. Hey, holy fuckstick, Batman. The real Renaissance man. Oh my God, I feel honored. When you and Wages both show up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm honored. You come from, your travels far and abroad, your battles, epic battles between the Renaissance man and Batman. I got my money on the Renaissance man. He's deadly with that guitar. He's surgical with that bitch. That's what I say. Yeah, fascinating. So we were just talking, Mark Pires, about the kind of dip in the Schumann and the resonances here in the middle of the night when you'd expect it. But then it also kind of dipped in the middle of the afternoon. It went back to bed. It's Russia. They do that sometimes. They just went to the Schumann resonances, just went back to bed until about 2 in the afternoon when they decided to work. And then this one here, the 14.1, started pumping out. Yeah. Schumann's resonance. He's a saint. They have deified Schumann. They've turned him into a savior. It's a thing. It's ugly, but he will cure your ills. He will, if you get up on the right side of Mr. Professor Schumann, he will grant you a wonderful day. You know, like, look at this. It's the middle of the day. There's nothing much happening there. Saint Professor Schumann will grant you peace of mind. Look at this flat line there. You will have no trouble, no worries at all today. Look at this flat line. You know, that's Professor Schumann from his grave, promising you the best day ever because of the flat white line. No white peaks there. Yeah, okay, we can rest today. Meanwhile, the magnetics are bopping like a Mexican jumping bean. The magnetics are what bounce all around the world. You know, they're like, Mark, let me explain it to you. You're a music guy. You have 4 types of musical instruments. The green is a bass, okay, the 4-string bass. The red is the cello. The yellow is a viola, and the white is a violin. Okay? You could also picture the white as like a piccolo, you know, or like a really tiny flute. Fife, maybe? I think maybe the yellow might be a fife. All right, if you look at it from that perspective. So they're all different parts of, they can produce the same note, but they're not all the same, like, sound. It's a tenor, the different, you know, harmonics based on what, you know, the length of the string. In a piano, it's the length of a string. But also with, yeah, there's a sense of that, exactly. You kind of overlay and you can still get the harmonic from one over the other and you still recognize it, even though it's the same note. Oh my God, fife. I'm from colonial New England, from Waterford, East Lyme. We had a fife and drum. They do a fife and drum parade down the middle of Essex. Are you kidding me? You know, they still do a sheep to shawl in the middle of the town. You know, it's a farming town. Turned, you know, they built up a shopping mall and made it like, oh, we get a bunch of money. They improved the town. Big deal. You didn't make any more there in the middle of town. You know, they still shear sheep in the middle of town as if it's a thing. You know, and that's what, you know, one of the field days in Waterford, Connecticut growing up is sheep to shawl day. You know, they had the fife and drum corps, and oh yeah, they're serious. Yeah, Fairfield. They probably do the same thing there. All of those, yeah. I think, but Fairfield is a little different. They're a little ritzier. You're in the nicer end of. That's the New York. Fairfield is a suburb of New York. That's sort of a way to look at it. Yeah. They do a little different. I don't know too much about that, you know, that specific, but I know enough about the you know, the town to know that they, you know, they love the colonialism of it. They love the quaint little our town parade, you know, marching up the middle of Main Street. And Devil's Hop Yard area is, yeah, Post Road. Yeah, they still have Post Road. You know, for the strangers, out of towners, it's Route 1. Okay. But for us locals, it's the Post Road. And technically, it's the Boston Post Road, actually. Um, Devil's Hop Yard is near, yeah, Essex. But it's a little further up north, near Haddam. It's along the Connecticut River. Okay. So if you were to go from, if you're on I-95, okay, going from, um, we'll say going from Rhode Island, where I am now, into Connecticut, you go through, uh, you go through, there's Noank, Stonington, Groton, Mystic, and then you get to, there's Groton Town, and then Groton City, and so then you get to the Thames River, then you get Waterford, where I'm from, then, or New London, and then Waterford, East Lyme, Old Lyme. Then you get to at the end of Old Lyme, you get to the Connecticut River, and then you can go on I-95. You can keep going down into like New Haven, and you get to New York that way. Otherwise, you take Route 9 toward Middletown, which has Wesleyan University. And so if you go up Route 9, you go through Centerbrook, you go through Essex, you go through Deep River, you go through Sterling, Plainfield, Plainville, and then you get Plainville is the other side. I think it's Plainville, like Fieldville, one of them. I forget, I get them mixed up. And then you're right about there, and it crosses over into the east side. I think it separates to go north, and then you hop over the Connecticut River. So you have like Haddam, and then you have that area there, which I'm not that familiar with, but like the Goodspeed Opera House is right there. It's a little tiny tourist destination. It's in the middle of nowhere, really expensive food, very nice. And then you have all up there, there's the Devil's Hop Yard, right? So that's like a state park, but it's all just, you can get lost up there easily. And so make sure you have a few cold snacks with you, a few cold ones going up there. So when you do get lost, you won't be as, kind of bent out of shape. But so that would be from where I grew up. That's an hour away, roughly from Waterford to the Devil's Hop Yard. But it's very nice. They have a place to, park. It's worth the day going up there, So all these little New England towns are very, me too. I'm lost too, Bradley. All these little New England towns here in New England love doing that colonial thing. They have the marching, band, the fife and drum corps. My sister and I did one of those in elementary school. Our class was in the parade. We did the recorder, actually. So it was a lot of fun growing up. There's something about that was very kind of magical. And somewhere around there was the 150th anniversary of the town. Sesquicentennial, I think. Is that maybe 250 is sesquicentennial? I don't. But at 150 years, we did a really cool celebration. 1776, and that was the year my sister Holly was born. So she's not quite 4th of July, but somewhat like George M. Cohan, a patriot baby, if you will. All right, so okay, so with that said, there's not much of the amplitude going on. You got to look at the numbers too. Some of you all are in numbers. Like 23, here's 13, hit a peak of 13. 8.9, starts at 1.9 at the base, goes up to 8.9. Q4. They're all basically, they're not much of them are active because the quality Q4, Bradley, because you asked, Q4 can get up to like 30. Okay? Like the magnetic wave, the strength of the wave. The nanotesla is the strength of it, right? The magnetic strength of this. It's magnetic flux, but the up and down, and it's measuring strength of it. All right. So, all right, Mark. Thank you, brother. Have a great rest of your night, buddy. I will probably go over there and check in and see how you're doing over there. So the Q4, because you asked the quality of Q4, the height on that, and again, I like almost from the beginning, I've told you got to look at the range of what the base is, what it's starting at, and what the height of it is that it's starting at. Okay, so we love you, Mark. You did such a great job. You're, if you're still here, you are the honorary 12th out of 10th members. Just so you know, wages is 11, you're 12, and you're just fabulous. You deserve it. You worked hard with absolutely no recognition. You got the shadow banned the F-bomb out of you, so you deserve an honorary seat I'm not monetizing. I haven't monetized. I'm not going to. You know, y'all need to support me in some other way, but it's not through YouTube. So I just want to let you know. So the height of onward and upward. The height of the not height, but our the magnetic strength here, the nano, the pico Tesla magnetic. All right, Q. All right. The quality number on 4 can get up to Q4 can get up to 30. Okay, it's at 9.4 or 9.5. Okay, I wouldn't, even though it's bouncing around, you know, it starts at 5.6 and goes up to 9.5. I wouldn't say that's really busy. Oh, hello, Mama Bear. Thank you for worrying. Thank you for doing that for me so I don't have to. Wonderful to see you. Thank you very much. Hold on. I'm just showing the chat here. I like doing that periodically. So, hi everyone. So, you know, the chat is kind of, it's not quite integral, but sometimes it is. And so when things are relevant and going on in the chat, I like to kind of put them up there and, you know, and bring them in. You know, there's like side discussions that go on. Doesn't necessarily need to be up here on, you know, for everyone to see, you know, because it'll, generally speaking, it'll be in the comments, whatever. But, you know, when it relevates, when the comments are relevant to what I'm speaking about, I kind of put them up there so we all can read. I think that's a good principle to operate by. All right. So, you know, Bradley, like I was saying, just kind of to get back on track, if I could, the Q4, that can go, you know, from, you know, like a 5 up to a 30. So it's not even 1/3 of what it would be in a busy day. Whereas this guy here, the white, like that's about as tall as it kind of gets, you know. And then, but this isn't the tall part of the wave. You know, the amplitude is the tall part of the wave, but there is still a thickness or fatness that comes. This is the magnetics, which is the, you know, the horizontal magnetics. The Q quality is horizontal frequency. Okay, so, but this is the horizontal frequency of the Teslas, okay, not the electron volts, which is the upwards. So, a lot of times these numbers here, the green and the red, will be similar. The top numbers will be similar. That's something I've said to, you know, kind of watch for. And then the other two numbers, the Q1 and Q2, will be similar as well, relatively high, and the other ones are kind of relatively low. But you see the peak, and these are peak. You got to look at something else too. You have a peak here, a peak there. Most of it stayed calm. Look at this. Where the other peak is 7.1, 7.1. Most of it is below 6.5. I mean, it's a really calm day for both the electrics and the magnetics. It's just, you know, there isn't much going on. And even the frequency bouncing around, right? These are kilometers. Frequency is kilometers. So this is 25 and it's 1,000 kilometers, 25,000 kilometers, okay? That's the difference in the wavelength. So the frequency numbers are high, okay, peak to peak, right? Frequency is peak to peak, okay? And this is the magnetic strength, flux, how much it's fluctuating in the magnetics. So you're really just kind of seeing a diurnal kind of pattern here. Overall, it's just calm. It's really just calm. This is sort of the calm before we get blasted Monday. Okay? Is that fair enough to say? All right. Earthquakes. Yay! And I refreshed this before I came on, but let me refresh again. All right. So there we go. So there's some miles between where this is banging off here and Tomsk. So we're probably not seeing any, clearly you're not seeing any, yep, seems like it is so. You're not, you know, they don't have a seismograph anyway. You can't match up the same thing they do at Kumiana. They're doing something different. They're in the earthquake central over there. Yeah, mellow, calm, exactly. Very chill. Schumann is just chill at this point. He's just meditating out, man. Uh, which is fine. It's fine. That is fine. That's a fine thing with me. So 7 hours ago, the big one, big ass one, 23, it was all banging off. And then there was a big one in here, 7 point, whatever. The 7 point, oh my God. 5 point. Oh, I can't find it. It's in there. It was in there somewhere. Trust me on that. The 7 point whatever is in there. So, I'm giving this as an example of showing you the earthquake relative to Tomsk. It figures out. It's one of the parameters. It figures in there. Okay. And I'm not going into this. I get too much other stuff to do. We're not going. This isn't the earthquake report here. I gave you Tomsk weather, the Tomsk radar. I think I did that. Refresh. Did I give it? I gave it the weather, the radar. Yeah, I gave you the radar already. Boop, 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 okay, sunspot. How are we doing sunspot wise? Bam! Look at that. We got some stuff happening. Not very big, but it's facing us. Them are facing us. Okay. If you recall, recently I did that article on the sunspots. The diurnal variation over the 20 years sunspots. So there's a pick me up in the times of sunspot activity on the Schumann resonances. Okay. All right, so this is the real-time auroral activity. This is still 443 kilometers a second, is fairly on the lower side, calm. The density, 3.81 parts per centimeter squared. This is a nanotesla, okay? This is our intermagnetic planetary field, okay? Calm activity. South would be, I guess, north would be better, more calm, conditions when it's coming from the south like this. It's not such a great thing. They're giving us a warning here. Negative pressure, back pressure. Not sure how to kind of work that in there. All right. All right. Oh, lightning. Do we get a lightning discharge? All right. So this is not an updated model, but I want to show you this. This is part of actually another lesson, but I want to show you here relative to the world map, the location. This is the closest one to Tomsk, but this right here is a center of lightning, a chimney, what they call the chimney effect of the lightning. So this area here gets a lot of light. You can see down here, the flash rate density, flashes per square kilometer per year. 50 is the black, rather large number, and that's in here, red, maroon, and then into black. So this area here is the closest lightning chimney source to Tomsk, which, as we saw, is somewhere in here, relatively speaking. So this is the this is the closest lightning source to Tomsk, and I don't have a real-time lightning meter. This is not real time. This is going back a few years. And this is part of another lesson. I'm trying to find the real time lightning monitor, and I can't. Okay, we went through that. Saw that. Went through the earthquakes. All right, so let's look at Etna. What's Etna doing? All right, so this is Etna on the 23rd. It's showing us here some activity. Wow. On the 18th, we saw some really significant activity. Anything down here? All right, the geophone. This is the seismic meter, is the geophone. Okay, and that's the real-time lightning meter. All right. Okay, I think with all of that, stated and done. This is my update. Kumyania. That's our seismic activity here. Not much going on. Little kind of spikes there. Not much. You know, that was the last. We got a bunch of earthquake activity out there. You can see right there. Boom. That's all seismic. See, these kind of lighter areas on this are seismic. And that's what you got to remember. That's what Kumyania is measuring, is seismic, as well as the VLF and everything. Boop-boo. Okay. Oh, Mama Bears. All right. Okay, Mama Bear. We'll talk with you soon. Thank you, sweetie. All right. So I think all right. So